Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council to order. We do have a quorum. Welcome, everybody. I would please remind everybody to silence your cell phone before we get started. I'd also ask you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for the invocation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilor Watson.
Our eternal Father in heaven, we come before thee this evening and give thee thanks. Thanks for the many blessings that we enjoy. Thanks for the moisture which is falling and for the protection that it provides. Thanks for this community and people who live here, for those who come and visit. We give thanks for those who serve the town and our first responders and other emergency services, for our healthcare workers, all those who sacrifice on our behalves, and ask thy blessings and protection to be with them. We ask thy guidance and wisdom to be with us. Decisions we make, that we may do so in the best interest of this community and the city. We ask for blessings of peace and comfort throughout the world, for peace from the strife and war and the turmoils that are taking place. We are grateful for this country, for the freedoms that we enjoy. We ask for thy protection on those who serve this country to preserve those freedoms. Bless them and their families. Now again, we thank thee for all thy many blessings. We invoke thy guidance to be with us throughout this meeting. Still in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Councilor Watson. Item B is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the Town Council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up during call to the public is limited by the open meeting law. Council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda will not be heard, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. We have no requests for call to the public tonight, so we'll move on to item C, which is our consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion of the council. There'll be no separate discussion unless a member of the council requests an item be removed for discussion. Council members, however, may ask questions without removal of the item, and items removed are heard in their normal sequence as listed on the agenda unless called out of sequence. As you can see, we have 4 items tonight on our consent agenda. Are there any questions? Vice Mayor?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you, everyone. That carries unanimously. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item before or after council discussion. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is a tourism and marketing update from Community Services Manager Tony Alba.
Good evening, Mayor Irwin, Vice Mayor Smith, members of the Town Council. As we are entering a new fiscal year, we thought it was appropriate to do a quick review. We're not going to go into a lot of detail because you get our monthly reports, but Keith thought it was a good idea just to bring you up to date on what we accomplished and some of the highlights over the previous year. Since the Advertising and Promotions Committee was dissolved, gosh, what was it? I believe almost 4 years ago, part of our commitment to the community and to the members of that group was that we would address council and give periodic updates. So happy to be here with you this evening. We're going to focus on a couple of key areas, tourism and marketing, both from marketing from a tourism standpoint, and we'll touch briefly on what we do to market the town. And then we'll talk about our events and the successes we've had there, as well as some of the impact that it's had on the community. So we will start very quickly with tourism and marketing highlights. As you may know, our agency of record is Larry John Wright out of Mesa, Arizona. We are now in year 2 of a new contract with them. So we had a 1-year contract with 4 renewal options. We are in the first renewal option, so we're in year 2 of 5, basically. It does come up for renewal every year and automatically renews unless there's a reason to discontinue. So we've been working with Larry John Wright. For the first time this past year, we worked with the Arizona Office of Tourism on its marketing co-op plan. Basically what that means, the Office of Tourism negotiates preferred advertising rates with different publications. They get those discounted rates. We apply for the marketing co-op dollars. Arizona Office of Tourism covers 50% of those costs, and then we cover the other 50%. So it's really a good deal. We focused on 3 key areas for this year. Again, this is the first time in many years, and maybe ever, that we have done that. We did a print ad as well as a digital ad campaign with Arizona Highways, with Grand Canyon National Park Journal, and we have a print ad coming out in September in the State Visitor's Guide. You have a copy of Arizona Highways in front of you. If you turn to the very back, inside back cover, you see our advertisement that Larry John Wright created for us. And there's also a 1-page, basically an editorial piece just opposite that. As an added bonus, if you look at the other page I have flagged for you on page 12 and 13, the Pinetop Olive Oil Company is featured in there. An old friend of mine was up here about 3 months ago to oversee the photo shoot. So that's a nice piece that we have included in there. I got an email from Arizona Highways today. If you go, and you can do it later, arizonahighways.com, the first thing you see is our digital ad. So it's right there on the landing page, and it just kind of rotates through. So that's part of what we did with Arizona Office of Tourism. We also have the Grand Canyon National Park Journal, and if you go to the flagged piece there, you will see another 1-page editorial piece there, and then if you turn that page, you see our ad. In addition to that, they are providing us with a list of people who have asked to be included to receive information on Pinetop-Lakeside through their digital platform. So we send that list to Larry John Wright, and they send out a monthly email to all of those folks, plus some additional people that they have on their mailing list. Very successful campaign. Arizona Office of Tourism is getting ready to relaunch their marketing co-op program. We're going to be taking a look at that. I think we were very happy with it. Oh, I'm not advancing, am I? Sorry about that. We're very happy with that, and I think we're going to continue at least at the level we did last year and maybe expand a little bit. We did it kind of as an experiment. We were very happy. We worked very hard to create a good partnership with AOT. 4 years ago, quite frankly, we weren't really even on the radar. If you went to their website and you clicked on Eastern Arizona or Northern Arizona, we weren't even included on their map. Now we're highlighted on their map. We are now in year 4 of running the Visitor Information Center. Several months ago, Annie DeRozier was featured in their monthly newsletter, which I think all of you saw that. We sent that to everybody. A couple of months back, we hosted a travel writer, Sarah Morganson, and her husband from Travel Awaits. They did some very nice coverage, including on the Nature Center and the new Land on Sky program coming there. Woodland Lake Park was featured 2 months ago in the AOT newsletter, and you can see kind of a picture of it there. That's on the right-hand side of your screen there. So we've worked very hard to create a good, positive relationship with AOT. Annie and I will both be attending the Governor's Conference on Tourism next week. I want to go to our visitor information statistics. Again, this is our 4th year of doing it. You can see the traffic we've had year by year. We have since updated our year-to-date for this year. We did this report and sent it out to everybody prior to the end of June. So we now have June's figures. So year-to-date, our actual visitor traffic is 1,060. So we're on track to exceed last year and have our highest year. Our busiest time is June through October, so we're right in the heart of it. The only 3 states we're missing representation from our visitor center are Connecticut, Delaware, and West Virginia. So if you know anybody from those states, get on the phone and send them in here. You know, we used to do what we called B-roll, which was video ads on different websites, various websites, as well as banner ads. When COVID hit, we decided to pull back on that, and we've continued to evolve. We really are a lot more strategic in what we do in terms of targeting visitors. We started a new email campaign that Larry John Wright does for us. It's different from Talk of the Town. It's tourism focused, and you can kind of see an example of it over there on the right-hand side. Our subscribers have steadily increased since we launched this program. The paid audience, we buy lists, and those people, you know, they can opt out, but we buy lists of people who have a penchant for travel and have expressed an interest in this area. That list is 600,000, and then we have another list of 10,600 that actually subscribe to the newsletter. So it's been a very effective way to target visitors. We also use Instagram. Instagram is a very popular platform, a very effective platform for travel and tourism. And you can see again, the audience has continued to increase over the years. We have a current audience of 60,000, and you can see the total impressions and engagements that we have there through that Instagram page. In terms of marketing the town, we do Talk of the Town every 2 weeks. We'll do it next Thursday. It's every other Thursday. We have 1,365 subscribers. And this is really a way to promote our events, but also to alert people of what's going on within the town. Our open rate is about 43%, which is pretty impressive. The industry average for a government entity is just under 29%, and we're at 43%. So we have a very engaged audience there, which basically means we're hitting almost 600 people every 2 weeks. I want to transition very quickly to our events. So we had a great season of events last year. I'll run through them very quickly. Some of them were new. Some of them were a little bit retooled. We just finished up the White Mountains Balloon Festival for the 5th year, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail in just a minute. You'll remember we had the Wall That Heals, which was a fabulous event that involved the whole community. We received rave reviews from the promoter on that one, so we were very pleased with that. The Family Easter Picnic. A couple of years ago, we moved that, based on Annie DeRozier's suggestion, over to Jack Barker Park. We've continued to expand that event. We did a family picnic this year. We were able to secure the softball field back behind the park. Families were out there playing games. They brought their blankets. We had a food truck out there. It was really, really a special day. The video, I think all of you saw that, of the kids playing games and having fun, and the smiles was really heartwarming. Tillman Honor Run continues. We did the White Mountain Chili Cook-Off again this year. We had a new event in October, which will come back this year, called the Color Run. Keith Johnson, Town Manager Johnson, has always been trying to find an event to promote the fall colors. And again, this was Annie's idea, and her brainchild did all the work on it. So the color run, you see it pictured there. We will bring that back again. Trunk or Treat has continued to evolve and grow. And then the Mayor's Tree Lighting Festival, we'll be retooling that and adding a few events to that this year. We really use our events to engage with businesses, with local businesses, and some examples here for the Easter event. We had these oversized baskets, again, that Annie created, and we opened that up to sponsors. Come and sponsor a basket. We'll put your logo on it. All you have to do is provide eggs for it. We had 21 businesses jump on board. That was up, I think last year we had 8. So that continues to grow. The Balloon Festival, businesses sponsored the event to the tune of $10,000. That doesn't include in-kind hotel sponsorships. If you include that, it's actually about $14,000. It also doesn't include propane, which is probably about $8,000 from Sierra Propane. The Wall That Heals, thanks to the mayor's leadership, we were able to come up with $28,500 in donations. The Nights of Lights, we have trees available in the park for local businesses to adopt. Those sold out last year. We continue to give away Christmas lights to the local businesses, and we have a business decorating contest, and we award cash prizes to the best decorated businesses. I want to talk very briefly about the White Mountains Balloon Festival. Again, we have a great partner in Sierra Propane. This is their 4th year. We could not do it without them. We were very conservative in our attendance estimate. Public Works this year for the first time did a car count, and we used a very conservative estimate of 2.75 people per car. The Public Works folks said there were a couple of cars that had 1, a few that had 2, most of them had 3 or more. But again, I don't want to be that guy that grossly inflates our attendance figures. So we use 2.75 per vehicle, and that comes up with about 9,200. I think we had more than that, but conservatively speaking, that's what we're going to use. We had 18 balloons, 9 food trucks, 5 specialty food trucks, 24 retail and informational vendors. The Nature Center, again, did the beer garden, beer and wine music. We had beer and wine sales, rather. We had live music, and the Rotary Club did a pancake breakfast. You can see day-by-day attendance there. Again, these are conservative estimates. On Friday, we estimate about 4,000 people, 4,800 on Saturday, and about 400 Sunday morning. Those of you that are out there, I think Sunday morning, we had more than that. But again, we're trying to be conservative. One of the things I am most proud of with that balloon festival, it generated about $16,000 to local nonprofits. The Nature Center grossed $12,000 in beer and wine sales. We haven't received the final bill yet, but I think they'll net about $10,000. The Rotary Club, through the pancake breakfast, raised $3,300, which will all go to fund scholarships here in town. The 4-H Club sold water and commemorative pins. They raised $1,400. And then the White Mountain Clothe a Child organization, they had a booth, they collected donations, and they raised about $1,000, which will be enough to fully clothe 9 children during their upcoming holiday shopping expedition. Save the date, June 23 through 25 of next year. Put that in your calendar. Finally, I want to just acknowledge the great teamwork we have. The Public Works folks do yeoman's work, as does our police department and our VIPs. We had a representative from Farmington, New Mexico attend our event because they're looking at doing something similar, and she came up unsolicited and talked about how hard and how impressed she was with the work, the hard work of our Public Works guys, the Arizona Rangers, the VIPs, and our police department. So people notice. And I just want to publicly thank, as I always do, because it's so important, the work of our Public Works crew, our VIPs, and our police department. That's kind of a quick overview. Again, I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Before I open it up to questions, I would just like to read a little note that I received from a balloon pilot, Blair Kaufman and Ann Piper. It says, "Dear Mayor Irwin, thank you so much for your support of the White Mountain Balloon Rally. As pilot and crew, we had a fabulous experience, and without your support, we know the event couldn't have happened. Thanks to all the sponsors, community, and everyone who pulled together. Kudos to Tony and Annie. The White Mountain event was amazing thanks to you and all of Pinetop-Lakeside." And they have the Sundagger balloon? Sundagger, okay, a little bit hard to read. But I just, we need to salute all of you guys in the efforts that you put out for these events because it really makes an impact across the community. I talked to a number of business owners after the balloon weekend, and they had phenomenal weekends, just incredible, and it's continuing. So thank you guys too. I know it takes a team, but you guys are the leaders of the team right now on this.
Thank you. We've received very positive feedback. We always thought that this event and a lot of our events really benefit the local community. I've received some, concrete examples of that I've shared with you, but I really hadn't thought about the impact it makes on our nonprofits. And again, that's very rewarding to me. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Tony or Annie? Thank you, guys. We look forward to continuing all this.
Thank you.
Okay. Item D2, consider designating the town of Pinetop-Lakeside as the official destination marketing organization, DMO, for the purpose of coordinating tourism promotion with the Arizona Office of Tourism. Tony.
Here I am again. So we talked in that last presentation about the relationship we've built with the Arizona Office of Tourism. Do that. We have another influencer, social media influencer that will be visiting the area in September, so we're working to host them as well. In April of 2019, you may recall, we were recognized as the official destination marketing organization for this community. We opened the visitor center the following month in May of 2019. Beginning in July of 2021, last year, Arizona Office of Tourism requires a government entity to designate a local DMO. That DMO, Destination Marketing Organization, is the official group that will work in cooperation to host travel writers, to host a visitor center, to participate in the governor's conference, and they're the only ones that are allowed to participate in that marketing co-op program I mentioned. So you designated the town as the official DMO last year. That designation expired on June 30th, so we're here tonight to ask you to once again designate the town of Pinetop-Lakeside as the official destination marketing organization for the community, which will allow us to continue to work with Arizona Office of Tourism.
Any questions, comments for Tony? I'd entertain a motion. Councilor Buse?
I move to designate the town of Pinetop-Lakeside as the official destination marketing organization for the community through June 30th, 2023, for the purpose of coordinating tourism promotion with the Arizona Office of Tourism.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All of those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Tony. Again,
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item D3 is consider appointments to the Pinetop-Lakeside Police Department Public Safety Personnel Retirement System, PSPRS Local Board. Christy?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to give a little reminder on PSPRS because I don't think it's come before you all in a few years. So each employer who participates in PSPRS, which is the Public Safety Personnel Retirement System, must establish a 5-person local board, which includes a chairperson, currently is Mayor Irwin, 2 appointed persons, which currently is myself and Sean Mulkerns, and then 2 individuals who are contributing members to the plan, which are elected by secret ballot election from all contributing memberships for that group. We did a secret election and we got 8 votes for Officer Eduardo Bonilla and 7 votes for Officer Levi Wickfors. And the local board wanted to make a recommendation to you all to approve Officer Levi Wickfors and Officer Eduardo Bonilla and myself as the local board secretary.
Thank you. Any questions for Christy? Thanks for keeping us on track. I appreciate that. Do I have a motion? Thank you.
I move to appoint officers Levi Wickfors and Eduardo Bonilla as PSPRS members to the local board with a term ending June 22nd, 2024, and Christy Salskoff as a citizen member, local board secretary with a term ending June 16th, 2023.
I second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to appoint these individuals. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Christy. Item D4 is consider resolution number 22-1618, designating Kevin Rodoff, Finance Director, as the Chief Financial Officer, CFO, to file the annual expenditure limitation report with the Arizona Auditor General. Kevin.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. What we have before you tonight is the annual resolution to appoint somebody from the town to be responsible for filing the annual expenditure limitation report. And if somebody else would want to do that, that would be fine. But all it is to put somebody on the hook if something happens, if the report doesn't get filed. And it's something that we bring before you annually, and so that's what we're bringing for you tonight.
Thank you. Any questions for Kevin? Thanks for stepping up and doing that. Questions, comments? Councilor Watson.
Ready for a motion?
I am. Please.
I would move to adopt resolution number 22-1618 and designate Assistant Manager Finance Director Kevin Rodoff as the Chief Fiscal Officer, CFO, to file the annual expenditure limitation report with the Arizona.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 22-1618. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Kevin. Item D5 is consider resolution number 22-1619, entering into an intergovernmental agreement between participating agencies in the White Mountain Regional Response Team, the SRT. Chief Barnes.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This agreement is going to be between all of the municipalities in Navajo County, the Navajo County Sheriff's Office, and several municipalities in Apache County for the implementation, deployment, equipping, governance, and maintenance of the White Mountain Special Response Team. In past years, we operated under other agreements through Shola PD. They were the original founders of the team. They've since broadened that to have their own board, have participating agencies contribute more funding to that program to keep it up and running, because the Shola PD had kind of bore the brunt of those costs over the years. So I wanted to expand on that. For participating agencies, they have an operator on there. The minimum requirements have one operator. We have two currently, and we've had as many as three at any given time. For a participating agency with an operator, it's going to cost $3,500 annually to have them on the team, and then the town would receive services in the event that we had a situation in town that required an SRT response. In the event that we don't have any operators, we have a lapse in that, the town can still pay an annual cost and still receive services in town, or pay a per response fee each year. What's nice about this is, now we pay $3,500 per operator, but that's, it's going to cost a lot more money to train those folks that are on the team, to equip them, and keep everything running, keep them, we have to give them a lot of ammunition every year to train, so those costs are rising So by having this in place, it covers all the costs associated with having a member on the team and keeping them properly equipped with the necessary equipment they need to do their job when they have a response. The term of this agreement is going to be for 5 years, and each of those years, if we continue to have 2 operators, it'll be $7,000 annually. We have planned for that in the upcoming budget, and we'll plan for that in the subsequent years as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Watson?
Chief, maybe a couple questions. One, just give us an example of some of the functions of the SRT.
So SRT is, it's like a SWAT team basically. So they have specialized training. They have members that actually have to test and go through a pretty rigorous process to, one, get in the program. Then once they're in the program, they send them to SWAT training to build on their proficiencies and skills, and then they apply those skills under management of the team to various events. They go to hostage situations, they can go to active shooter situations, they can go to a wide variety of things, like search warrants, high-risk search warrants and things like that to preserve life when they're working those. So.
Go ahead.
A follow-up question. Are the designated members from our agency, are they full-time or do they still perform other functions with us?
They still perform, the two officers that we have are patrol officers, and they still perform their full functions here. They're like covering a shift right now, and when they get a call out, their shift's priority. Kind of why we have 2 right now, so there's a backup. Usually if there's one guy working, the other guy's typically off, so that member can go to the call out. So they still perform their full normal duties in addition to this.
Thank you.
And they volunteer for this, and they apply for this, I should say, correct?
They do. They apply for it, and they have to be vetted through the team and perform and stay pretty active in their training and responses and all that to stay on the team.
Yeah.
Question.
Councillor Buse.
So, Chief, roughly how many times was SRT called out, say, over the last year? You have any idea?
That number, but I'm guessing 15 times roughly to 20. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, and again, that's throughout this county and even into Apache County, right?
And into Apache County as well.
Okay. Thanks.
I think in the world we live in, it's really critical that we have these officers trained for these types of instances, and we all hope and pray they never happen in our community, but it would be naive to think they're not going to. So thank you for bringing this to us.
Been the recipient of 2 major incidents where the team has come in on a solo shooting that ended up here, and our own officer-involved shooting, and without that team, things would have probably turned out a lot different and been a lot harder for us to manage the end result of those. So by having these specialized teams come in, it's very helpful.
Any other questions or comments? Motion? Councillor Buse.
I move to adopt resolution number 22-1619, entering into an intergovernmental agreement between participating agencies and the White Mountain Regional Response Team, SRT.
I'll second that one.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that one. Moving on then to item D6 is consider resolution number 22-1620, approving the Arizona Mutual Aid Compact Agreement between the Town of Pinetop-Lakeside and the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs. Chief.
Okay, this is a renewal of our agreement that just recently lapsed. This agreement sets the procedures for mutual aid assistance and the requesting of reimbursement through the county, state, or federal government. Once the emergency is declared, either the mayor, county supervisors, or government the town is able to request reimbursement for expenses that occurred as a result of the need for emergency assistance, to identify available resources and how to get reimbursement for provided assistance in an emergency. This one's important for us. I think, we've had several instances where we've had to, request reimbursement on some major catastrophes in town, and it's been helpful to have that in place. So this sets those procedures for that.
Okay, any questions for Chief? Motion? Counselor Heisler.
I move to adopt resolution number 221620, approving the Arizona Mutual Aid Compact Agreement between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs.
Counselor Watson. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 22-1620. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you again. Thank you. Okay, item D7 is consider resolution number 22-1622, approving the Third Amendment Animal Services Impound Agreement between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and the Humane Society of the White Mountains. Kevin.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This is the Third Amendment to our animal services contract with the Humane Society. I would say that this agreement has been working very well for us. And, a lot of cities and towns have run their own animal shelter. And if we had to do that, it would cost us significantly more than what this agreement does. And so I think it works out well for us. What the Humane Society has asked for this year is a modest increase of $5,000, which we already have in the proposed budget that you will be considering next year. So raise it from $20,000 to $25,000. There was only one change in the agreement. And if you look at page 1, it was under the special circumstances to outline if an animal is brought to the Humane Society from the town, and for whatever reason, if it has to stay there for an extended stay, that we would be responsible for the cost, which makes sense to us. And so staff recommends approving this agreement.
I have one question before we start any other discussion. On the CDR, it talks about the Humane Society asking for increases of 1.88%, yet down below it talks about the consumer price index. The agreement says the increases go along with the consumer price index. So
I believe that 1.88% was obtained from a specific CPI index. We have some representatives from the Humane Society here.
Come on up, Dina. It seems to be conflicting.
Good evening. So it is conflicting. So when we originally proposed this year's CPI index was an increase of 1.88%. Okay, so we want to do the current year, like next year maybe 0.4% or 4%. So we want on a yearly basis in this next 5-year contract, whatever the CPI index is, increase for that year.
Okay, so we've got it in our agreement the way that you guys are comfortable with it.
On the page that he just had you refer to.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to clarify that one. Thank you, Dina. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Anybody? Vice Mayor? I'm sorry. Tabor. Councilor Heisler.
I move to approve the Third Amendment Animal Services Impound Agreement between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and the Humane Society of the White Mountains, and Resolution 22-1622, approving and authorizing execution of the Third Amendment of the Impound Services Agreement with the Humane Society of the White Mountains.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Dina, would you like to introduce your partner there? if you don't mind.
So a lot of you may know, a lot of you may not know, I am retiring at the end of this year, and this is, where'd she go? This is going to be my replacement. Her name is Jeanette Chrisman. She is currently our bookkeeper and my assistant, and she will be with us for over 2 years when I leave.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for being here. Dina, we're happy for you in your retirement, but sorry to see you go. It's bittersweet for everybody.
Including me.
And the Happy Tales date is?
August 27th, please come. And if you can't come, please buy tickets ahead of time. You might win something.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
And thank you again for another contract.
Appreciate your services. Okay, item D8 tonight is a public hearing on the consolidated fee schedule and consider approval of resolution number 22-1621, adopting and declaring as a public record a certain document filed with the town clerk and entitled Fiscal Year 22-23 Consolidated Fee Schedule for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Kevin.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, this is a new fee schedule that's proposed for next year. It has been posted for 60 days, and so we're bringing it to you tonight for consideration for adoption. On the CDR, on page 1, there's highlighted what the changes are for this schedule as compared to the one that we're currently using. You'll see minor land division, $35. We didn't have that fee before, is that right?
We had the fee, it was not on our schedule.
It wasn't on our schedule. So we're just formalizing that. The same with land combination and lot line adjustments. We didn't have a fee listed for appeals of a Board of Adjustment notice. So we're adding that $200 fee to help cover the cost of advertising. What's listed is also altered dog license of $10, unaltered dog annual license of $30, and a license renewal fee of $10. There's also some public works fees that need to be changed for various reasons. On the companion plot, it was pointed out to us that what we had for a companion plot and another plot, they differed in price, but they both were dug at the same level. So we want them to be both at $360. A $400 charge for interments on weekends. So there's a $40 increase to help cover the cost of overtime for our employees to do that interment. And to raise, what we were finding out, we didn't have a fee for 13-gallon bags at the collection center. But my understanding is most of what's brought in now is the 13-gallon bag. So we'd like to have a fee in there for $1.50 per bag. And another new thing that's recently happened is records request for us to deliver records on a flash drive. So we'd like to add a fee of $10 to cover the cost for us to get those records put onto a flash drive to hand out to citizens.
Are we requiring the citizens to furnish the flash drive, or we're doing that?
No, we're doing that,
So
and
that
that
covers the
$10
cost.
would help cover that cost.
Okay.
Having said that, when we were looking through the schedule today of proposed fees, there's a few things that I think we need to clean up. It won't change the resolution or what we're asking you to do tonight. But if you look at the schedule of fees in your packet and go to page 3 on the animal license fees, if you would, please. What we have listed there is a 1-year license for $10, and then we have a license renewal listed for $10, which is also, it's the same thing. So what we'd like to do to clean it up, if you all choose to adopt this tonight, is to take that license renewal line off because it's just duplicative of the page, of the first line. Now, we have a one-year license fee of $10, and then we have a one-year license fees for seniors 62 or older, also at $10. So what I would recommend, we don't need that duplicative one for 62 and older unless I think maybe it's up to you if we want to give a discount for seniors getting a license of 62 or over. So if you want to reduce that fee to $5, or else we need to take this line out because it's duplicative of the first line. Do you all have any thoughts?
I don't see any need to necessarily offer a discount. I don't think $10 is exorbitant.
No, and I was talking with Chelsea Haas, our animal control officer, today, and I asked her, are there less problems with dog owners that are seniors? She said, no, actually I have more because they don't want to put their animals on a leash and they don't see the need to have their dog's license. So that being said, if it's okay with you, we'll just take out that line as well.
Is that okay with everybody? Okay.
And I
So
believe
those are
that was
the-
it, right? Yeah, yeah,
And we just raised that one fee to $30. The unaltered.
yes.
So, did anybody else see anything that's? Yes, Councilor Buse.
I mean, it's not a big deal. I thought historically, haven't we taken Christmas trees at no charge after?
So we've had a special place for Christmas trees, certain dates, if I'm not mistaken. That wasn't necessarily at the collection center, it was at Mountain Meadows. So is that the difference? Matt, can you help us, please?
Good evening. So what happens is when you guys authorize me to do a Christmas tree collection, general fund covers that cost. Does that make sense? So we take money from general fund to cover that, and we put it back into the enterprise fund, which is the solid waste fund. So that's why there's a charge for it. And when we've done several different types of those types of cleanups where we help the community, yet general fund is what covers that. Actually, I think that last one came from the council's, I can't remember the name of that account. The council's.
It was our community.
Relations.
Relations account.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe it's coming from.
So that's why we need a fee in there to justify what we transfer over to the enterprise fund.
Right. And that way we're keeping everything separated and clean because it's a separate fund, and that's how we've done that.
But the people don't have to pay.
Correct.
Correct.
Right. That's good.
If that answers your question.
Yep, thanks.
That help? Any other questions or comments? Okay. Councilor Krigbaum.
I'll do the motion.
Sure.
I move to adopt resolution number 22-1621, adopting and declaring as a public record that certain document filed with the town clerk and entitled Town Consolidated Fee Schedule, effective July 7, 2022.
I'll second that.
Thank you. And before we continue on with this, this is a public hearing. So if there's any member of the public that would like to address the council, this is your opportunity. Okay, seeing none then, we will close the public hearing. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Kevin. Item D9 is a public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 22-1623 and ordinance number 22-440, amending Town Code Chapter 15.16, uniform numbering system. Matt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight before you is our addressing numbering system. I don't think that there's a whole lot to go over here. This is mostly updating, trying to make it easier for us, the citizens, and first responders. Currently, what's happening in the town is we have roads that are split, the parcels are split, and then it creates a driveway that is extensive, and then we have people addressing out on a main road, and so we really want to clean that up, and that's the biggest part of this. as we've just received, a couple months ago, you guys approved moving Chapter 15 to Public Works. This is just one of the first amendments of many you will see.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilor Watson.
So my understanding would be in this situation that you just mentioned, so somebody has a driveway and all of a sudden there being 3 or 4 people in the driveway. That would then be given a street name, numbering system to correspond with that.
Yes, sir. Most of it's for first responders. We want to see the road named as well and the address named because we have a hard time understanding where people are actually at. A lot of this happens on Heart Lake. I'm sure you've seen it on Heart Lake. There's a lot of roads throughout town that you see this problem happening. Not only that, but then this gives us the opportunity if they're coming to Jeremiah and they know that they're going to have a driveway over 200 feet, we can name it and get the proper addressing up front instead of having this problem afterwards.
A follow-up question to that. Was there any effort to try and notify, for example, those on Harmony? I know there's some driveway that got 20 signs saying different people live on that driveway. Any notification of them that they will be getting a new address could affect their delivery of mail?
Are we going back? I don't think we're planning on going backwards, right? No, we're not going backwards.
This will just be for future.
Right. And if they want to, we'd be happy to work with them on correcting those issues. But we won't go back and make a big mess of trying to fix all the roads in town. We just want to have some teeth going forward so that we don't have this problem going forward. Right now, the way it reads, we don't have any teeth to make them do that.
Yes, Councilor Pierce.
What about, I see any duplex houses having 2 front entrances. And again, I would ask too, I mean, there's a lot of places here where you had the main structure and on the same lot was maybe a guest house, which in many cases now has become a rental house with occupants there year round. Is that the same with those? You're just going forward, or is that?
I'm going to defer to Catherine on that one.
Yeah.
It's just better to organize the town. We have a lot of development going on, and a lot of the parcels that get split are not really subdivisions, so it's hard for us to keep track of the driveways. It's for the first responders too. So once we have that established, that everything, further than 200 feet, lower than 2 houses.
But if I understood your question right, you're talking about the multi-dwellings? Is what
Yes,
you're looking
yes.
at? I think the same applies there. We just need the teeth going forward. We're not looking to go back. It would take way too much time to fix it to go back.
Okay, however, if somebody wants to have them numbered, they can come in and do that.
Correct.
And that would be, Public Works is where they would need to go for that, then, okay.
So currently, Catherine takes care of all the addressing for the town, and she also works with Navajo County on the updating the 911 systems to make sure that they match. And so this has been a concern for a while, and it's kind of gotten to a point where it's a little frustrating because you'll have driveways that are not just 200 feet; they're half a mile long, and the house is at the end of it, and that's scary for first responders and for us because we're trying to address something for first responders, and it doesn't connect. So they're getting an address out on Heart Lake Road, let's say, and not back where the house is actually at. You probably know better than I do, Dave. You probably deal with that more often.
Yeah, quite a bit in the town. We find, and I was thinking of the neighborhood you were speaking to earlier, that there are houses that are addressed on the road and they're a half mile back in there. And then the other problem is there's no addressing that's at the end of the road on the tree, but not necessarily on the house when you get back to where you're going. So.
And we also covered that in this portion. It requires, and it also in Jeremiah's stuff requires now the tag on there. But I think his did for a while. Ours also has just reiterated that they have to have the right sign on the front
Councilor Kriegbaum, did you have a question?
There's the teeth that are in this. I think I'm grandfathered in naming our driveway. It wasn't approved by the town, but Catherine approved it, and our driveway is more than 200 feet long. So when houses are built up on the top of the hill, they will really be impacted by this. But do I have to have a sign that says Jack's Lane? I do not have that now. And if so, how do I get something like that?
That's a good question. That's something that
I thought I was on.
I think that we will need to work towards doing that as we start to. I think it would be best for everybody to have those. So I don't see a problem with us going forward with that, especially if it's tying into our right of way, and then that helps obviously the first responders, and it'll also help us identify those roads. So I don't see a problem with that. We can just let us know at Public Works and we'll get that taken care of. But I think that that goes forward with everybody that does a named road. I think it's important to have those up so that people know what road it actually is.
I think it's a really good idea. Appreciate it.
And to go farther with what you're saying there, Lynn, is that this is currently happening. So we've already been trying to work with people because they've already ran into these problems. Obviously, as you're all aware, Amazon and all these other things that are going on, they can't find these places either. So
How do we fix the Google Maps? Because that's my only problem now, is that Google doesn't know where I am.
me and Annie have this conversation all the time, and so we're working on it, but we don't have a direct tie with Google.
Keep ordering, and maybe they'll get it figured out eventually. This is a public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to address this issue? Okay, seeing none. Council, any further discussion or a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Anything? Councilor Heisler.
I'll move to approve resolution number 22-1623 and ordinance number 22-449, amending Town Code Chapter 1516, Uniform Numbering System, as proposed in the attached document.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. This concludes our business tonight. Please remember that we do have a special budget meeting next Thursday at 4 o'clock. So I look forward to seeing everybody then. We are adjourned then. Thank you.